The Gridiron is sponsored by Anna Marie's. If it ain't Anna Marie's, it ain't breakfast.
Welcome to this week's edition of The Gridiron. I'm your host, John Brennan, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. Springford played another District 3 opponent in Manheim Township last week and fell to them 26-13. Once again here, Coach, I feel like in all of our years doing this show, we've never had this conversation where we've done back-to-back shows with 2 losses in a row. Are we correct in that statement?
Yeah, that's true. We have not lost 2 games in a row in
all the years of the Gridiron where we've been doing the show, right?
Yeah. Well, which is all the time that I've been here.
Yeah,
We've been doing this 12 years, buddy.
Wow, that's too long, man. Like, guys still got to find those first episodes and see what we look like.
Probably look really young.
Yeah, I would say that
young.
too. So, all right, let's talk about you. Let's talk about you. You know, what's going on? What's the approach? Because, like you said, it's a spot we've never been in before. I know we played some really good opponents the last couple of weeks, but at some point here, you know, like, our kids hitting panic button, coaches hitting panic button, and you just said, hey, we got to move on, get ready for next week.
Yeah, I mean, that's got to be the approach. You know, yeah, you're right. It's a little uncharted territory for us as a staff. You know, we've always tried to play very good non-league opponents and schedule those types of games. And, you know, even more so, it's one thing, these were both very winnable games.
Okay.
And our defense played well enough to win in both games. But turnovers and lack of third down conversions has really hurt us. The turnovers, you know, were very big on Friday night. They actually ran, I think, off the top of my head, over 20 more offensive plays than we did. So, you know, I think we only ran like 47 or so offensive plays. And that you're just not going to, I mean, unless the game's 60-0 because you're scoring 80-yard touchdowns, that you're not going to be successful. And, you know, we had a fumble on the kickoff. So right there,
it's like giving 2 possessions right in a row to them.
Correct. Yeah. And you know, we threw an interception, and we also had another fumble early in a drive too. I mean, you know, you never want to have a turnover, but if you have a 12-play drive and then turn the ball over, whether it's on downs or, you know, a fumble or interception, at least you've kept the defense off the field.
And you're in their part of the field then too, right?
You've changed the field. Yeah, you've changed the field. We did not change the field on Friday night. I mean, the whole night, Manheim Township was between their own 40 and our 20.
Yeah.
It just felt like that. And there's a number of different factors there. You know, we were trying to punt away from their best player. And by doing that, you know, we were sometimes punting the ball out of bounds a little shorter. I mean, we could have punted the ball deeper, but we were worried about, you know, him taking one back,
right?
Because he could do that at any point. So there were a number of factors. And the other thing right now, offensively, we've struggled to overcome maybe calls that could have gone either way, and we talked about that after the Cumberland Valley game. You know, we had our early drive. The defensive end held our tight end, and they missed it, and we would have been able to convert an easy first down, and we just we didn't overcome that, and so you know, we you know, all you can do is continue to try to get better and correct those things.
Yeah.
You know, if you, the problem is the sum of those things, they add up.
Yeah.
But they're correctable things. And they're little things, but like we know, little things tend to add up. And I think that, you know, we're still going to be fine. That's kind of the message. We just need to We need to correct all those little things, and it's a player not making a block here or a missed assignment there or something along those lines, and that's all we can do is continue to make corrections and try to get better, and there's gonna be some changes too in terms of
sure. Like
who's
at some
where,
point you gotta make some coaching decisions. That part.
And honestly, the other part of it is we were really affected by injuries on Friday night as well. We were scrambling. Like we've always tried to be, two platoon. We are not this year at some spots, and so if a guy gets hurt, now we're scrambling on both sides of the ball and special teams. And so, honestly, especially on special teams, there's a couple guys that are, maybe not quite ready for varsity football, but we don't have an option, and we've got to put them in there. And that's not necessarily fair to them. We've just got to continue to coach them and try to get them to the point where they're ready.
Yeah, so here's my next thoughts in the game. So weeks 1 and 2, you get turnovers, right? You're winning the field position battle, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you win the games handily. So it shows how things we talk about in here, how you're turning the ball over, you're not converting plays or whatever, and it's a real uphill battle for you guys to win football games. My other question was, and you talked about the punt, like there was obviously the best player on the field. Like, did you feel going into the game like we were accountable for him on the field? Because once again, he scores. He has a good statistical game. When you look at everything, like, did we do everything we could to minimize his effect on the game?
Yeah, I mean, I think ultimately we did. Like he had, I think, 13 receptions, but 5 of them were in a row, and we were gonna make them. Okay, if you're going to go to them, then we're going to continue to take them away. Because they do spread the ball around and did in the previous games. When we watch previous games, it's not like they just isolate him and keep throwing to him. So I think he caught maybe 4 or 5 balls in a row. We made some adjustments. He did catch the first touchdown. But overall, I think we did a good job because you're not going to stop him.
Sure.
It's one of those, cliches where, try to contain him, bend but don't break kind of thing. And the other thing about Friday night is their quarterback played a really good game. The other 2 touchdowns were fades where we were in excellent coverage, and he just threw a better ball than, he just threw the ball where it needed to be. And, so at some point, too, you tip your cap to that.
Yeah.
Our corner played excellent on both of those balls. He just threw a great ball.
Yeah.
So on 2 of them, and that wasn't Ivy.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
So,
I just like you say, I was trying to lead you down the idea, like, all right, you're playing against this superstar, like he's gonna get his, but we got to take away the others, and like the quarterback had a really good night, and that's what happens. You give a guy an opportunity to beat you, and they do.
There were 2 killers for us on defense. One of them was a helmet-to-helmet call on 4th and 8 or 4th and 12, and they got 8 yards. And it was probably the right call. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the helmet-to-helmet thing is really tough because offensive guys put their helmets down or duck or whatever, and you might be in a good position to make a hit, but he ducks his head, and you get helmet-to-helmet contact. The other one is their quarterback on a 4th down play scrambled, and we had him, and he scrambled for 11 yards, and we had 2 shots at him. But if you want to sum it all up, we need to run the ball better, and we need to not turn the ball over. And if we do those things both weeks, if we do that's the hard part for me and our staff is, do I think that these teams were better than us? No. We didn't do the things that we needed to do to get us over the top. So it's one thing, some coaches are like, well, I'd rather lose a game, 40-0 than I would 20. I wouldn't, but I can just say like the 40-0 game.
I can't win. I'm never going to win that.
They have better dudes than we do, So we pride ourselves on if the teams are fairly balanced. Obviously, they had a player that we don't have right now, but other than that, we're fairly balanced in terms of rosters. That's where we want to, impact the game, where we put our kids in better spots to win. But if we turn the ball over, that doesn't matter. So, no one's pressing the panic button.
Yeah, it's crazy how people would watch this and they'd be like, oh my God, like it's like things. Let's run the ball better. How many times they say that, right? Let's not turn the ball over. I mean, it's crazy how simple little things in the game of football can lead to success. And when you struggle at those, like you said, just simply getting the run game going. Right. Now you're putting a lot of pressure on your quarterback. He's got to make plays in the passing game for you too.
We made some mistakes there as well. I mean, you only get one shot at certain things, and we saw some things on film that we wanted to take advantage of, and we got a shot early and didn't make the play. You're right. You have to run the ball better, and you have to keep a guy like that. If you keep Anthony Ivy off the field, he can't hurt you. Mm-hmm. But then you get into a position where now, if you just keep running the ball, the clock is now your enemy.
Yeah, sure.
So you end up having to throw more than you anticipated or wanted to do, and all that stuff works against you.
All right, Coach. Well, good.
That's why it's a great game.
Yeah, sure. Like you said, you can do all that
Football's
work.
A great game.
You can do all that work all week long, preparation, but then you still got to go out and execute when it's game night or whatever. And if you can't execute, then you're going to have results like you did.
Yeah.
Bottom line. All right, Coach. Let's check out the offensive highlights from Springford Manheim Township.
Offensive highlights are sponsored by What's Hot? Cards and Collectibles.
So this was a really nice play by Ryan Freed early in the game I think it was on our first or second drive, where
Is this RPO action?
This is an RPO, and what happened is he's reading one of the inside linebackers who's now chasing him.
That's a good throw.
And it was a really nice throw, only where he could put it, or only where our guy could catch it.
Lateral?
Yeah.
Yep, got him.
Yeah, that was on our second drive, so that was a third down play. We felt like we could throw bubble a lot. We wanted to throw it a little bit more than we did. But this is Jake Ray, who is he's a wide receiver and D-back for us, played quarterback a little bit, and is now, because of injuries, playing quarterback on JV. This is a really nice run by Harrieti F.A. on a little
because it almost looks like you
screen.
could go bubble here a little bit too, right? Like, it's giving that look, right?
We call it dual screen. So we're not blocking that defensive end. We let him rush, and then our tackle's out there blocking the cornerback, and he did a nice job of cutting it back inside. This is near the end of the game. Again, a little scramble drill kind of, and he gets out of the pocket. Our receiver, actually, this is a sophomore, Bilal. He did a nice job he changed his route, seeing the quarterback scramble. Near the end of the game, and Matt Zollers is a freshman quarterback for us, and he brings a little bit different tools to the table than our starting quarterback,
slinging
Ryan
it there,
Freed.
right there.
Yeah. So
that's going all the way across the field here too with this throw. So
he
35 yards downfield and going across it.
Yeah. He's got a really strong arm, and he's a big kid, and he brings a little something different to the table. We try to, mix him in a little bit here and there. We have some plays that we run specifically with him, and Ryan got dinged up a little bit on Friday, so we wanted to make sure that he was checked and good, and he will be. So.
All right, sounds good, Coach. All right, make sure you stay tuned through the commercial break, and we will talk about the defensive highlights from Springford Manheim Township.
Home fire drills give your family a plan of action. In a home fire, you may have less than 2 minutes to get out. So when you drill, show everyone 2 ways out of the house, pick a safe meeting spot, and get there in under 2 minutes. Then practice home fire drills at least twice a year. You can even make them fun. so everyone knows the sound and exactly what to do when they hear a smoke alarm. Go to ready.gov/fire drill and learn how to prepare your family for home fires.
Hey!
There are amazing things to discover in the forest.
Toothless, time to go! What you picking up on, bud?
It's a whole hidden world of wonders. And the perfect place to spend time with family. What better place to let your imagination soar? Experience nature and create a memory you can share. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest or park near you.
Welcome back to the Gridiron. I'm your host, John Brown, with head coach Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach. Before we do defense, I was told by the student body that watches the show, we didn't do announcements last week. We had no major. I know there was nothing major to announce, but it's a staple of the show, so we
I'm
forgot
glad
to
they
announce.
noticed.
Listen, they're watching to the second segment. That means a lot right there. So
That's sticky eyeballs.
Yes.
They call that in the industry.
okay, so announcements. I was told by our illustrious director, Mr. Rothermill here, that you can go back, and since it is rivalry week here, we can say here you can go on the RCTV YouTube and you can watch the documentary, which you're featured in, Battle of the Horns. The kids did it last year. It was a really good documentary.
Yeah.
You probably get a little publicity here as the week
Get a
goes
lot
on.
of information behind the scenes in that.
Yes. I gave the kids a hard time last year because they used one of my calls from like RCTV and a score, and I was like, wait, I don't get an interview? I feel like I've been a part of a lot of like...
Did you get credits at the end?
Well, that's what they said. That once I do something for RCTV, like they own it, so they don't need to like tell me like
right.
they can use it.
It's called intellectual property.
Whatever that is, but they just took it. So, Dunn, if you're out there, remember I would still like to be. I thought it'd be a good interview, but
You know what? You can take Mrs. Bowen in my course in the media center because we're talking about intellectual property. You can talk about all that. And to me, I guess they do own the rights. You probably signed that contract, that huge contract that you get from RCTV.
Right, like when I tell the kids in my class about like my get-rich scheme ideas, they're my idea. So if they ever make money off of it, like I'm entitled to some of that, right?
Right.
Okay. Because they might make it big and have some money some days and start the idea.
Exactly.
So so once again, check out the documentary from last year. It was
well done.
well done. Yeah, good
Yeah,
way
it
to
was
say
well
it.
done. We also put out a rivalry video this week.
Okay.
On
Strickler
Facebook.
Studios?
No.
Brubaker Studios.
Strickler handles the graphic design. I handle the films.
With some assistance from our...
Yes, they helped me out. But put out a rivalry film that's on Facebook and Twitter.
Okay.
You can watch that. And
I haven't
also
seen-
on our website.
I told you I liked the one at the beginning of the year. It was like black and white Metallica, right? It was like the walkout one.
Oh, that's the
I told
walkout
you I
one.
liked that one. I guess
Yeah.
I'll have to check out the rivalry
Yeah,
one.
it's pretty good, I think.
I was really proud of myself. So I said that correctly. Rivalry. It's a tough word to enunciate.
Okay.
You-
The one thing I would say too, and this is only going to come out, I don't know when we're releasing this week's Gridiron, but you have to buy tickets
Digitally.
online. And my understanding is there will be no tickets available at the gate.
Okay.
Which I
See, that's
don't-
an announcement. You have to tell the people
Yeah,
that
I
one.
don't think that's. I think there's going to be a lot of disappointed people. Maybe they might like just knock over the fence to get into this game. But yeah, you have to buy your tickets online. There's limited tickets for both sides, and my understanding is there's not going to be tickets at the gate.
Yeah.
So it's really important to buy those ahead of time. And I've heard it might already be sold out.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, people get on here because I'm sure it's still before 7 a.m. here.
Hey, another announcement. Listen, I had to get away last week after last week's game. You know how it is being a coach, and
Sure.
you're really frustrated about
X,
how
Y,
you
and Z,
played,
whatever. Yeah,
X,
yeah.
Y, Z, blah blah blah. And my son and I went up to the Whiteout game.
Oh, did ya?
Last Saturday. So that was a great escape. Like one thing that's really hard for me is my son's a senior at Wilson, and so. There's no sabbaticals as a head coach, so
Right.
and I was pretty emotional about it going into the first week, and thinking about, am I doing the right thing? Now my son understands, like
Yep.
he's grown up
been-
around
yeah,
football.
yeah.
He understands it. We watched his film every Saturday, and we talk about the games and stuff. But he and I went up to Penn State. We tailgated a little together, and what did we do while we were tailgating? I watched his game on an iPad, or actually on his phone, and I was watching, brown and orange film on the iPad. We're sitting there, and everybody else is partying, and my son and I, the football nerds that we are, sitting there breaking down film. But I tell you what, I made a really good burger.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Mean.
Yeah, I'm probably the
burger.
minority. I'll probably go, if the choices are hot dog versus burger, I'll take hot dog.
So my burger, did you ever have a double R burger at Roy Rogers?
No.
They throw a little ham on top.
Okay, that's you.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right. I'll take you up on the offer. All right, let's get back to the game here, Manheim Township. The team gives up 26, but once again, I feel like your analysis was you were not allowed to fault in the defense because you're giving them short fields. You're putting them in a not optimistic, situation for themselves.
Yeah, our defense has been playing, really well, and I keep saying over and over how great of a job our defensive staff is doing, and getting kids in the right spots. Again, we weren't good enough to overcome some calls, and again, that's on both sides of the ball. But they did a nice job for really being put in a tough spot over and over again, short fields and whatnot. And for the most part, we've always kind of been a bend but don't break kind of defense, and they did a nice job. They did a nice job.
I think what we've talked about with this defense for a lot of years is that idea of bend and break, bend but don't break. But the idea of also their kind of bugaboo sometimes is getting off the field, like on third downs. And you said there were some big fourth down plays against Cumberland Valley where once again just unable to get off the field. I'm sure that still needs to be a priority. What they're talking about on that defensive staff. The other part of
that too is if you piggyback off of what I said, they were constantly put in those situations where it is a short field. So, and they had 20 more plays than we did. So that just makes more opportunities for them to make plays. So yes, there was a scramble where we had a chance to put their quarterback down and turn the ball over. We did get an interception by Peyton West, but weren't able to capitalize on it. Yes, we would like to. We actually did force a fumble, but they were able to jump on it, and they didn't turn the ball over other than that interception. So, those, and we should have blocked a punt, and those, we were really, really close. And I think sometimes, you in football, you talked about it the other week, how momentum is such a huge thing in high school football, especially. We don't have the TV timeouts the college
NFL,
game and the NFL game. And so that momentum, you get a big block kick or turnover and everybody's fired up. In college and NFL, they change it over. They go to nationwide commercial.
Sure.
And everybody's standing around for a couple minutes.
Look at you giving Nationwide a free plug here in the show.
I don't know.
What are they giving us? You know what I mean?
True. I didn't.
It's okay.
That was just what came to my head.
Sure, it's okay. Yeah, I guess and what I was going to lead to before we do highlights is you're seeing a little bit of a change in how teams approach. It would be fourth down, let's just punt it away. I think you're even seeing now the higher levels where you get in that middle part of the field and analytics and would say let's 4th and 2 or whatever, you're going to roll the dice. So it's even tougher to get off the field now.
Oh, absolutely. If you're on the 35, if the other team's on the 35-yard line and it's 3rd and 5, you almost can guarantee that even though there's a lot of high school kickers that are much, much better than they were 10, 15 years ago, they're still gonna go for it.
And I'm saying move it back 15 yards. Let's say you go to the midfield, 45.
We've done that.
You'll do that. I mean, it's just you see now even the NFL the idea. Let's punt it. Let's be safe. Analytics are saying just go for it, and so that's another contributing factor, I would say, to an inability to get off the field,
especially in high school too, where
they don't have the kickers.
If our punter is healthy, all right, which we've had 2 games where he was not. Okay, punt. but if you're only going to punt it 20 yards anyway, statistically, if you're looking at analytics, like them starting on the 30 versus them starting on the 45, statistically, that's not that big of a difference.
Yep.
Now, if you can punt it down inside the 10, that's a whole nother whole nother set of variables.
Yeah, no, I'm just, like.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Are we football talk here? Is this a football show or not a football show?
The other thing I would say too is high school is always ahead of high school and college are always ahead of the NFL because
in trends, you're saying.
And even in some of those things, like the NFL has millions and millions. Well, so does college. Millions and millions of dollars to do those analytics, but at the end of the day, in the NFL, you have a lot of guys that are really, really old school guys. Now, that's changing a little bit, and that's where you're seeing some of that. But they're worried about keeping their jobs, week to week. And if they make that mistake where they go for it on 4th down and 1 on the 50 and don't get it, the other team's already in field goal range. So the kicking is a huge part of some of that. So,
all right, Coach, good stuff. Let's check out the defensive highlights from Springford and Manheim Township.
You got it.
Defensive highlights are sponsored by What's Hot, Cards and Collectibles.
So Manheim Township, they are who we thought they were. They're pretty good.
That's the wrong side.
A little mistake there. Zach Zollers has played defensively just off the charts the last 2 weeks. I mean, he's got a motor that doesn't stop. Like we use that as a cliche, but it's really, really true.
Here you are getting to the quarterback again.
Yeah, we only had 2 sacks, but we did get him off his spot a number of times. But he was a better scrambler than kind of we thought maybe he was. This is a good job by Mike Bendowski running down the running back, and also Gage Swanger was there as well to help out. This is Ivy.
And there you go. It's a catch, but there's no lost yards.
Exactly. Will Fish did a great job there. Actually, Ivy hurt his ankle, I believe, on that play and was out for a series or two. But Will Fish did a nice job open field tackling. And this is a good job in cover 2, dropping the corner, dropping and seeing the whole field. And Peyton West picked that off. He leads the area in interceptions with 3. Right there, would have liked to see him
just
make
go
that
straight
kid,
up.
Yeah, not run to the middle of the field, run to the sideline. But that's a reaction thing, and Peyton's a really good open field runner and has really good instincts. So, he maybe saw something that changed once he started running.
All right, Coach. Well, Manheim Township's in the books. We're moving on, and rivalry week, as you would say, the brown and orange this week.
Yeah, it's I'd rather be playing them after 2 wins and have some momentum. But it is what it is, and we've got to
time to get after it.
Yeah.
All right, stay tuned through commercial break here, and we'll preview the game with Perkiomen Valley.
Hi, everyone. Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that after 75 years, Smokey's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when there are parched or windy conditions out there, you gotta be extra careful with things like burning yard waste. After all, wildfires can start anywhere, even in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Hey, Dad, I need your help asking Jessica to prom.
Of course. Love is like the ocean. You have to tread the waters.
Dad, that's not the kind of help I needed. Hey, Jessica. Will you go to prom with me?
Yes.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care can't wait to share their first with you.
Welcome back to the Gridiron. I'm your host, John Brennan, with the head coach, Chad Brubaker. All right, Coach, Perkiomen Valley week here, and kind of similar both. You're both 2-2. You both played 4 really good non-league opponents here as we enter in the pack play. If I remember looking, you're both kind of like in that, you're right around the 14, 15, 16, 17 in the district rankings. So this is going to be a big step for one of you guys here, and the loser of this game is going to have an uphill battle, obviously, to work their way back into the 16. And we've seen throughout the years, this tends to the game that gets you into that PAC championship game as well. So really, really no pressure or anything. A lot on the line this week.
Yeah. First of all, this game should not happen. I'm going to say that up front.
Shouldn't be the first PAC game of the week.
It should not be. It just shouldn't be. Like, year to year, there should be assessments made as to when teams play other teams in the league. It's a very simple thing, and it just doesn't happen for whatever reason. And Rob and I feel the same way about that. As last year was obviously different. We wanted to play first, and that worked out. But on a somewhat more normal year or a regular year, let's just say, these games should happen at a different part of the schedule. But it is what it is. I've said that again.
What it is.
It is what it is. So, yeah, I mean, that's how it's laid out, and that's what we have to do. So, they played Manheim Central, who's undefeated. They played Coatesville, who has one loss. Those were their two losses. They also played Downingtown West and beat them pretty handily, and they opened with Springfield Montco, I think.
Delco?
Yeah,
Delco.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Delco, yeah.
Springfield Delco. So, we know each other very well. We respect each other. That's a really nice thing about the rivalry in terms of the coaching staffs. It's not, contentious.
Look at us, though. Look at me going with words today.
It's competitive, but not contentious. I have a lot of respect for Rob, and I hope that he feels the same way about me. But we know their guy.
Yeah.
And the guy's been around for a while now, and Ethan Kohler is the guy that we have to contain.
Right, and that's where. So we're going to watch their offensive highlights here. First off,
he's going to be in.
He's going to be in the highlights. You're going to get on the turf too. No more grass over at PV. You're going to be on their new turf.
Don't you think they should have made like orange turf?
That'd be aggressive.
Yeah.
Be aggressive. So you're going to go on the turf for the first time, and when you look at PV, through the 4 weeks, the numbers they're putting. What was that?
Push-ups.
No, I don't. I'm not in your little Rome.
No, everybody is.
No. Perkiomen Valley. When you look at the points they're putting, they're just putting up a ton of points every week. Their offense is clicking. Is what I'm trying to get at.
They are, and the problem is that Kohler's legs are the issue. So, in addition to him having a very strong arm and a very good set of receivers, you can do everything right,
and
everything you want to do, and he's going to take off, and you'll see it in the highlights. He against Manheim Central, he had a number of long runs, long touchdown runs, and that is really frustrating for a defense. So, that's a big element out there of this game is, not only do we have to contain their passing game, but also we have to find a way to not let him leak out. Or they also run some design runs. Quite honestly, it's more dangerous when they don't design the runs and he just improvises. So, that you can do everything right and then he leaks out because someone loses a rush lane, and next thing you know, they're striking up the band, or they're in field goal range already, and or he makes a big first down.
Quick hitting offense is what the ability they can do against you.
Yeah, they can.
All right, let's check out, as you would say, the brown and orange on offense.
Upcoming highlights are sponsored by XPO Business Equipment.
So this is them against Manheim Central last week on the turf in Collegeville. I mean, just strong arm, and then
break some tackles.
You can't miss tackles like that. I mean, that's an 8-yard gain.
Turns into an 80-yard
and you're fine with that. But man, you just got to make those tackles. They do a good job. They've done a little bit more rollout stuff.
This is them design rollout to the right.
Yeah, they've done a
Throws
little
a
bit more of
dime
that.
downfield.
Another missed tackle. You got to tackle in the secondary against these guys. You got to be, grab cloth, grab anything you can, bring guys down. And here you have it, right? So this is a designed run, right? And you can notice like no one's catching up to him. That's not a good sign on film.
I noticed the speed, like you kind of like they have an angle on him. His speed through the hole was.
That's not a good sign on film when people can't.
Ooh, a little shovel.
And there's another missed tackle. There's another missed tackle, and it turns into a huge gain inside the 15-yard line. And then of course they still can run the ball as well. I know that Rob has really talked about the last few years having a more defined running game, and he's really worked on that with those guys and has had success.
So the defensive staff looks like they got their hands full this week here. What are you guys going to see defensively? The same we've talked about through the years with Perkins Valley, right?
Yeah, I mean they play a 3-3. They do what they do. They have undersized guys, much like we do, but they have undersized guys on the defense. They do have some more size this year than maybe some years, but they play with guys that just, run everywhere, run around. They try to hit gaps. They try to slice through, double teams, and they try to create free paths for their linebackers. And they do what they do, and they're really good at it. So
what we said, you said we'll see the quarterback, we'll see the speed on defense is what we're going to see in these highlights.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's check out the defensive highlights of Perkins Valley.
Upcoming highlights are sponsored by XPO Business Equipment.
All right, so Manheim Central is a very similar team. They have an excellent quarterback that can run a little bit, and right here it's
nothing
it's
available
a cliche.
Downfield.
It's a cliche, but coverage sack type thing, and here they are getting after him again. They do a lot of blitzing. They got a turnover here on that play. The quarterback coughed it up, but you see guys coming from everywhere, and it's hard to pick up.
Early pressure, he's not back there very long.
Yeah, it's hard to pick up. And then they do a good job of swarming too. And that's part, if you don't have a lot of size, then you better have speed and you better get guys hats to the ball, as they say. And they do a good job of that. So it's, whenever we play them, it's a close game. It's a intense game. It is a stressful game, and whoever handles that the best oftentimes comes out on top. So
all right, Coach, well, best of luck to you and the crew as you make the bus ride over to Collegeville area, you would say?
Yeah.
What's probably got to be like really long bus ride. Got to be something like 50 minutes or something like that, right?
No.
You'll be less than that.
A little shorter.
All right.
A little shorter than Cumberland Valley.
All right. Well, best of luck, all right?
What is the name of their stadium?
Keenan Stadium?
There you go. Very good.
I mean, not much trivia I don't get right around here. That's right.
Oh, that's a challenge.
Go find some.
Next week, I will bring a local flavor trivia that you will not get.
Because I always, when they do a baseball or they do football and they ask Kirk Herbstreit a trivia question, are they giving some prep on that, or are they just totally asking them out of the blue?
Sometimes I see that they say that they don't.
Okay.
Sometimes they purposely say they don't.
But for somebody who watched all the way here to the end, there was no prep right there. That's just using the brain.
Very good.
All right, best luck to you in the crew.
You got it.
All right, make sure you tune in next week as we recap the game with Perkins Valley. For the head coach, Chad Brubaker, I'm John Brennan. See you next time on the Gridiron.